What's going on, guys? Rival Teacher in the house, and I'm back with the GPL Week 4 Power Rankings. My way, of course, I mean myself and my co-host, Trancel. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Happy to be here.
Alright. And of course, this half is going to be the Johto League. Hoenn League will come as well. But either way, our power rankings, of course, are determined by win, loss, and differential as our primary factors, and any instance of tiebreakers, we will get to the deciding factor as soon as we get to them. But with all that being said, jumping in at rank number 10 this week is going to be Winter. Took a bit of a difficult loss to Denistrio this week, the Battle of the Friends. Pretty interesting situation here. Winter, my lovely, you're killing me here. Fucking bring Poltergeist on your Marowak! You're doing my nothing. So many times now I've seen this Marowak not picking up kills that it could easily have killed. Especially that Milotic. It would have dropped, unfortunately it didn't. Also, I have to question the Boomerang bring. I kind of understand grassy terrain as a thing, but Boomerang didn't really hit anything except the Gengar. And to be honest, Poltergeist would hit harder, as would Shadowbone for that matter. So I don't really understand the Boomerang pick in general. We also saw a very, very good demonstration of G-maxing a water type into a bulky water that does nothing. Definitely pretty unfortunate signs. We did see some signs of life with a couple of kills, but honestly, we didn't see enough from Winter here to really gain any foothold on Denny in the game.
Yeah, and like Poltergeist would be perfect because you know the Gengar has to hold a Pokeball, so it always hits. Maybe Milotic, but like Flame Orb gives it so much bulk that it just really wanted. And didn't really get the whole Protect play on like just having like Protect on Marowak for really anything, just because you probably want Marowak for Trick Room turns, and it didn't really do anything for her anyway.
Yeah, that's true. But we are kind of getting a bit worried now. We're 4 weeks in, this is week 5 now, we're still not seeing Poltergeist on his Marowak. I'm really hoping to see that adaptation soon, because it may actually unlock certain forms of potential for Winter to actually start picking up some wins, because this team has some room to be able to win its games, but I feel like it's being let down by its lack of power, and like not running optimal moves is going to be the big problem here. So this will be something. Obviously Winter is new to the competitive thing, so it's largely relying heavily on Smogon, which is one way to play the game for sure, but it's adaptation that's kind of necessary at this point. That's how you kind of learn the game and how you develop. So it'll be interesting to see if Winter can make that adaptation and how much of a difference it makes. Hopefully we see it soon. Just not after. Well, just wait till week 7, please, when I play you. But yeah, either way, definitely something I really want to see. I want to see Poltergeist on this Marowak at least once this season. I really want to see it because I think she'd be surprised by how much more effective Marowak can be with its highest powered move pool on it. Alright.
Yep.
With that being said, coming in at rank number 9 this week is going to be Nico. He's finally found a win, and a very, very important win as well, taking a 2-0 win over DJ. Definitely much better game than we've seen from the first couple of weeks from Nico. Very, very decent use of the Psychic Core of that Indeedee and Alakazam. I did like the rather cheeky adaptation of the Lumberry on the Gyarados after it was kind of put out of the game the first time round by Paralysis. I did like the cheeky adaptation to make it not so weak to Paralysis. Also kind of the crucial turning point for me was the kill on the Crocodile. Crook obviously basically won the game for DJ at that point, so the fact that the Crook died, it opened the door for that Psychic Core to really put in work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so the Rotom definitely put in a lot more work than I kind of expected. It really opened that up, and then the Psychic Core at the end really cleaned up well.
Yeah, a very decent demonstration of how powerful this core can be if it's allowed to get set up. Definitely an interesting one to work for. I'll be looking forward to seeing if Nico can put this to work again. Obviously now he's got to win. We do know Nico's a strong player. He only just missed playoffs last season, so the guy's no slouch by any means, but he's got a bit of catching up to do if he wants a decent playoff shot here. But you never know. We've seen potential now, so we've seen it happen. Now we just got to see it keep on happening. But I think he can do it. I definitely believe in him. Hopefully we start to see it work, because you never know. I kind of want to rematch him in playoffs, not gonna lie. But it is what it is. But moving on from that, coming in at rank number 8 is going to be Arvid. This is actually a tiebreaker on differential. However, Arvid had the bigger loss this week, so Arvid is actually going to be the weaker one of the two. This was a pretty interesting game, for want of a better term. I definitely felt like Melmetal could have had a bit better optimal usage. A lot of people have questioned it, and so have I. I immediately, as soon as I watched the replay, I was like, where's the Thunder Punch? I think we're all screaming that, and poor Arvid kind of got fed up with it. But yeah, I really don't understand the Ice Punch play into Skarmory, and I also don't understand doing it more than once. I can only assume, based on that logic, you didn't have Thunder Punch. But it was definitely strange either way. The Kudra actually did do quite a bit of work. 8 hits and actually started hurting. It started doing a fair bit of damage. I did almost kind of laugh at myself for a little while when I was looking at the Whimsicott set. Mono knockoff with Sun Protect Leech Seed. Kind of shades of me last season in the GPL with the set that Denny really hated. Only I had defog on that set, but that's definitely funny to me. I really like that. Definitely some creative opportunities here, but not really well executed.
Yeah, the Charizard didn't really, like, you want your G-Max getting kills, and the Licky Licky kind of just stopped that from happening. It did a lot of damage, but it just wasn't enough. The Licky Licky had Protect, it would have been even worse.
Yeah, exactly. Especially something as powerful as Zard is, you really want it hitting in damage numbers, and it's just not managing it. Mew again had some opportunities, but not very well played, unfortunately. This is obviously a rough game for Arvid. Obviously, Burger is one of the stronger players in the league at this point, so it's a tough one to play. But I felt like he had opportunities to win the game, just didn't take them. Alright. So, coming in at number 7 then is going to be Sylvia, who I have to say is probably one of the unluckiest people in the league this week. In what was a somewhat scrappy game, to literally lose the game on a damage roll is absolutely disgusting. But I definitely felt like there were certain parts of the game I thought he played very nicely. In many respects, like playing to the Zeraora endgame the way he did was actually very well played. It was just extremely unfortunate that damage rolls really kind of blew him away. We did get to see a bit more of a demonstration of Professor Elm Gigantamaxing in front of a bulky water type. This time it was Primarina. So definitely a very, very solid showing. Or even the Fruta Flutterbees, the Primarina was still killing with those energy balls. Definitely very solid. I thought Meowstic was a very, very cool bring. I didn't think Meowstic would ever come to a game. But I actually kind of liked it this match. The screens were really a problem throughout the entire game. Although, turn 2, probably not the smartest decision to prankster T-Wave a Dark type. That's been a nerf for quite a while now. So, probably not the smartest idea. But aside from that, I felt like Sylvie played the game fairly well. I felt like he deserved to win the game. Just RNGesus was against him.
Yeah, the Scarf Zeraora definitely was really huge here to outspeed the Sun core, but ultimately it just fell in the end. There was a lot of talk going on after. Close combat just killed the Venu, so it was the optimal play, but he probably just thought two things weak to fire, they're probably just going to die, and unfortunately on this day it just wasn't enough.
Just wasn't quite there, but hey, Pokemon's a cruel game, and that definitely was a cruel turn of fate for him. But coming in at rank number 6 then is actually going to be his opponent, of course, Professor Elm. I'm starting to notice a recurring theme here. I'm starting to notice 3 recurring themes here, actually. One is this Inteleon keeps G-maxing in front of a bulky water type. Apart from me, where it G-maxed in front of a Moongus, and then died to Rotom afterwards. He keeps switching his Cobalion in onto every fire type in the game, and we're still seeing Black Sludge on this Venusaur. I'm getting really fed up with seeing Black Sludge on his Sunsweeper. It's really, really annoying. Because there are actually certain things there where he actually could have picked up kills, but instead he didn't, because he didn't have the extra damage that he needed. Even something like a Life Orb or something like an Expert Belt even would be so much nicer on this Venu to actually really finalize putting the work in. But yeah, I'm starting to see the same sort of things happening, and I think he's getting a bit found out at this point. I did like the Ockerberry adaptation for the Cobalion. I thought that was kind of a nice little bring to make sure Incineroar can't kill it. But at the end of the day, like, yes, it's faster, but he then just wasted it by not really predicting a switch and then just close combating into a Psychic type and not doing a lot of damage back. So, definitely a difficult one. Obviously, he wins the game off of a damage roll, which, you know, it is what it is. But it's a 1-0 win that really isn't helping his differential all that much.
No, and if you want to bring moves, make sure to research them. I remember you saying that you didn't know how Wish worked. It takes a turn to kick in. That's why Wish Protect is good. But you clicked Wish twice and it just kind of wasted a turn.
And it also wasted the Wish because Togekiss died.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely not good use of moves. It's a common case of using moves that you don't know. You definitely know them first. That's something that I was surprised to see that. I think a lot of people were when they looked at it. But yeah, expectation are as we see some adaptation. I still want to see G-Max Lapras on this team. I've said this at the start of the season. I'm still not convinced by this Inteleon. I'm really not. I think part of it is it's not being played very well, but the other part is I just don't think it fits this team. So that's my honest opinion on that, and I'm still sticking to it, and unless I see anything that convinces me otherwise, that's going to be my opinion throughout the whole season. Alright, coming in at rank number 5 then is going to be yours truly. I'm still here, I didn't move. I'm still sneaking in with my sly little game plan here if I'm going to be even for the first 6 weeks and then win the rest of the season. That's going to be my game plan. Just kidding. Honestly, this game was kind of frustrating for me. I watched it back a little bit. There were definitely a couple of instances where maybe I should have made a couple of changes. Maybe should have not held things back. Obviously, Bronzong getting burned kind of sucked. And that my body press couldn't do the work. The other thing I felt like is I sacked my Rotom too early. But aside from that, unfortunately, my Noivern being choiced actually lost me the game. If it wasn't choiced, I actually probably win that game. Because Mandibuzz was physically bulky instead of specially bulky. So Noivern actually would have killed the Haxorus, the Weezing, and the Magnezone because it had coverage for all 3 of those. And then Mimikyu beats the Mandibuzz. So I could have won the game, but unfortunately, I prepped for a couple of things that didn't come, and ultimately, that's what lost me the game.
Yeah. I was looking into it. Could have maybe got a bit, like you could have kept your the disguise on the Mimikyu if you had Rotom and then pivoted out of the G-Max into Bronzong, and then you could have just killed with the choice banded Mimikyu.
I think
that could have been a play.
Yeah, my reasoning for not going that is I assumed the Grimmsnarl was bulkier. When I actually did the reading afterwards, my Mimikyu would not have killed at the HP it was at.
Yeah,
if it was a bulky Grimmsnarl.
that is fair.
So I kind of assumed it probably would be a bulkier Grimmsnarl, which is why if people watch my battle, I was kind of shocked that my Mimikyu actually killed the Grimmsnarl, because I was like, well, at least I get it in range for something else to come in and pick it off. And then I killed it. I was like, huh? What happened? How did that work? Right? And then I realized it was offensive. I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's what happened there. But yeah, that was definitely a bit of a surprise factor. But yeah, obviously, if I figured out it was more offensive, which I had no way to know because the Max Darkness always killed the Bronzong, even if it was defensive. So
yeah, at that point, yeah.
So in that sense, that yes, obviously hindsight being 20/20, yes, that was the more optimal play. But I had no way of knowing at the time, so it's kind of a tough one. But that was good prep on his part. Kami played that game pretty well. But yeah, ultimately, bit of out prep cost me. Not playing as well as I should have done also cost me. But nonetheless, I don't think it's the biggest deal for me. You know, I'm not out of the woods by any means. I'm always going to be annoying. So we'll have to see how it goes. I play Burger this week, so that's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to that. Alright, but either way, coming in at rank number 4 is going to be DJ. Of course, always funny how Karma tends to strike people sometimes. Makes a bit of a rather toxic sounding video and then loses to the weakest player in the league. Definitely an interesting one. But yeah, nonetheless, obviously DJ, of course, taken to a loss. You know, it sucks. It kind of loses a little bit of touch with the top of the rankings. But nonetheless, I actually felt like, aside from throwing away his crook for seemingly no reason, knowing Crocodile was his win con, he admitted it in the Discord later that honestly he threw his crook away for no reason. I also want to throw a bit of criticism at not bringing God of War. I actually felt like God of War had a solid matchup, especially against the Psychic Core, but it didn't come either way, which was pretty surprising to me. I don't really know why he didn't bring it. I guess he had like team slot syndrome or whatever, but yeah, it was kind of an awkward one. I felt like God of War had a good matchup and it didn't come. That may have been a prep issue. Something like that, or maybe something I've missed, but I'm really surprised not to see it.
Yeah, the crook play was kind of huge. He probably could have just gone Como. It seemed like it was pretty bulky, as it had a Psychic Berry to take on the Indeedee, which kind of seemed a little crazy to me. But it would make it live 1, but he showed that he couldn't even one-shot the Indeedee. With an X-Scissor, so to me that's just a bit weird. And then I think pretty much everything else was made sense to me. Just mostly the crook play.
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely a big time play. I don't know whether he just got tilted and just threw off the game. It'll be unusual for DJ. He's normally a better mental, but yeah, definitely a difficult one. But he will bounce back, he will come back stronger, which is always terrifying, because I still have to play him, so not looking forward to it. But luckily I have a different opponent this week first. But coming in at rank number 3, he's been silently creeping back up here after having a bit of taking a break on week 1. But Denny is actually here, obviously definitely took advantage of his experienced mismatched opponent. Denny obviously a very solid player in general, but yeah, I actually quite liked how he played a lot of this game. I felt like he had the upper hand from the get-go, and I didn't really kind of see him struggle all that much. I didn't really feel like he was under any pressure.
No. The Corviknight at the end just kind of cleaned up for him, and he decided not to BM at the end and get to +6.
I know. Where's the BM, Denny? Come on, man. You gotta swag up a little bit. No, I'm joking. But
either way, the toxic play onto the Porygon 2 is really huge for the Gengar. Otherwise, it can actually get stalled out by the recovered P2, and it was definitely special defensive.
Yeah, it was especially bulky of highlight for sure.
Yeah. And then, yeah, the terrain didn't really do much for Xanadu, the electric terrain. I thought, like, maybe there could have been, like, a terrain pulse Blastoise, but it was never in a terrain, so maybe it was, maybe it wasn't.
No, it never got in terrain. The terrain ended when the Blastoise maxed. And it never really had anything in. I would be surprised if Terrain Pulse was even on that set. But yeah, that's a rather complicated tech move that you and I might spot, but I'm not sure if Winter would. But yeah, it was definitely an unfortunate situation, but Denny, of course, you beat what's in front of you, and he did it pretty convincingly. Which is pretty ominous. He's in a very good spot now for playoffs if he can continue this run. He does have some difficult matches still to play though, so we'll see how he gets on. But definitely exciting. It's nice to have him back, and it's nice to see him playing well at the end of the day. That's what we want to see from him after last season. So, alright. Moving on then, coming in at rank number 2 is going to be Burger, of course. Of course, taking down Arvid in pretty much true Burger fashion, in all honesty. Scrappy game, but pushing through at the end. I think that's pretty much what we expect to see. I think the biggest highlight for me was this mixed Dragapult. I thought Dragapult was phenomenal in this match, and Burger played it very, very well, especially cleaning up at the end there. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough damage to kill off the Mew, which kind of meant that Arvid... Was it Arvid? Yeah, I think it was Arvid. Should have brought the Mew in earlier instead of sacking off half of his mons to it, but you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, he played it very well, and obviously he outplayed Arvid when it really mattered.
Yeah, I had a chance to look at his game, and I didn't realize how many of... It was basically his 2 sweepers, and then 4 mons with just toxic. He actually threw away Lycanroc very questionably at the start, but I think if he was facing a tougher player in this instance, it might have really costed him, but it didn't in this case.
I mean, he got pretty unlucky that it got burned. I think that was probably the key crux for it not really doing anything, but it kind of just felt weird that he were bringing in that early anyway. Of course, no, Lycanroc is a very, very potent late game cleaner, and it kind of didn't really clean. Dragapult did all the work instead. But
yeah,
that is what it is. Either way, Burger did everything he had to do to win the game. It makes absolute sense. It's ominous as he plays me, so it's going to be a fun match. I'm looking forward to playing him. We have rather jokingly already joked on the picking video that a 6-0 was coming, so I've rather quite happily said I'll take my free win, thank you very much, but we'll see how that goes. Alright, which means at rank number 1, he's still here, he's still unbeaten. There's Akami, of course. Obviously taking me out in true Akami fashion, I think it's fair to say. His Grimmsnarl actually caused me a lot of problems throughout the game until I realised it was offensive, and then my Mimikyu killed it, so that was one thing. I did think he played this game pretty solid. He never let me kill his Haxorus, which was a rotten sod of him. I would have liked to have killed that thing. But Bandit First Impression definitely caught me a little unawares. I was kind of like, oh, it's Choice Band, so I doubt he's going to have First Impression on it. And then, of course, he turns on the First Impression right as my Rillaboom G-Maxes for a drum solo to pick up the kill, and then it dies to the First Impression instead. Good prep on his part. I think he played very well throughout the most part. I obviously could have won the game had my Noivern not been choiced, so that was a mistake on my end. But he played around the situation very nicely.
Yeah, I really liked the AV Magnezone as well. It definitely took on that Rotom and basically stopped it from doing too much. Took a lot of hits.
Yeah, that was a sponge. Kind of probably should have prepped a bit more for that, but that was on me. But yeah, definitely a very cool little group of sets that he brought. Weezing never really got to do much aside from set Toxic Spikes, but that's about it. But yeah, definitely very interesting. Really, really well played on his part. Obviously played on my mistakes very nicely. But yeah, that's going to conclude the Johto Power Rankings, of course. But either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Rybombi Teacher. That's Trancel.
It is indeed.
Alright, stay safe, stay awesome. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.